Everyone knows Megatron's the bad guy. Transformers 1 makes you understand why, and it gets something about evil that most of Hollywood doesn't. But what is that? Well, as usual, we have to start all the way at the beginning to understand. By looking at the world it's set in, Cybertron is a whole planet of robots, and the thing that decides your entire life there comes down to one part: a cog. Got one? You can transform. Car, jet, whatever you want, and you matter. No cog, and you're a miner. You spend your life underground, pulling up the fuel the whole planet runs on, and you never turn into anything at all. And right now, that fuel is running out, which means the miners are the only thing keeping the lights on. Our guy is one of the ones without a cog, D16. His best friend, Orion Pax. Same story, cogless, stuck in the same mines. The two of them could not handle it any more differently. Orion hates it. He's forever sneaking where he shouldn't, breaking into old archives to read about the original primes, dead certain the cogless are worth way more than the dirt they scrape. Gets himself into trouble constantly too. And it's D16 hauling him back out of it every single time, usually mid-rant about how Orion has personally ruined his life.
Oh man, you're just ruining it. Look at my lips, you're ruining it.
Which, to be fair, he kind of keeps doing. D16 is the straight one. Follows every rule to the letter. Head down, stays on protocol, all of it. And he does it because he believes. Play it straight long enough and the system will look after him one day. Move him up where he's earned it. And that faith has a face on it. Sentinel Prime. Sentinel runs the city, and the story everyone's been fed is that he's the hero, out there risking his neck to find a lost relic that'll fix the dying planet and get the fuel flowing again. D16 buys every word. The guy is his hero, living proof to him that somebody up top actually cares how this shakes out. And he's not a fool for any of it either. He's loyal, works harder than anyone down there, covers for his reckless best mate over and over, and plays by rules that were basically built to keep him at the bottom forever. He's about the best that world's got, and that world treats him like shit. So a robot who trusts that hard and handed all of himself over to one man and one system, yeah, he's got an awfully long way to fall if any of that ever turns out to be a lie. And this loyal little miner, the rule follower, the one dragging everyone else out of trouble, you know who that is? It's Megatron, and the movie makes sure you like him first. Orion keeps doing what Orion always does. He drags D16 and a couple of other robots up to the surface, the place they've been told their whole lives would kill them, and up there in a cave, they find bodies of the original primes, the actual heroes of the planet, all dead. And one of them, Alpha Trion, still barely running. He tells them everything. Sentinel's a fraud, never found any relic, never lost one. He led the real primes into a trap, handed them over to these alien quintessons, and stood there while they died. The fuel that's been running out this whole time, Sentinel's been shipping it off-world to those same aliens, buying his own crown with it. And the cogs, the one thing that decides whether you're a person or a tool down there, Sentinel's the one who's been pulling them out, before activation, on purpose. Do you even realize how much of an impact that has on D16? He wasn't born to be a miner. Nobody was. He was built to transform, to be someone, and the robot he's worshipped his entire life reached in and took that out of him before he ever woke up. Then handed him a story about heroes to keep him digging and grateful. Every rule D16 ever followed, every scrap of faith he sent up the chain, all of it was loyalty to the exact man who caged him. And this is where the movie really earns it. Two robots just heard the same truth. Orion and D16 standing right next to each other, both gutted. And they walk out of that cave wanting completely different things. Orion wants to fix it, get the proof out, show the whole city what Sentinel is, tear down the lie in the open. D16's already past that. There's a moment where stopping Sentinel gets floated, and he cuts it off.
Don't you want to stop him? No, I want to kill him!
No, he wants to kill him. Wants him in chains, marched through the mines so every miner sees the fake for what he is. And then leave him dead in the dark. He gave that man everything. So that man is going to pay everything. On the way out, Alpha Trion hands them the fallen Prime's cogs. So now, for the first time in their lives, they can transform. D16 finally gets the thing that was stolen from him, and he's going to use it to become the worst version of himself there is. They get the proof out to the whole city, and it all comes to a head up on a tower. Sentinel cornered. Everyone underground finally watching. D16 fires at him, and Orion throws himself in the way, taking the shot, and falls over the edge, dropping toward the molten core of the planet. D16 catches him, one hand, same as always. He looks at his best friend hanging there over the drop and tells him it's time he stopped saving him before opening his hand. His eyes go red right about there.
I'm done saving you.
Then he turns around and finishes it, gets both hands on Sentinel, and tears him in half in front of the entire city. He pulls the cog out of his body, the one that used to belong to a prime called Megatronus, and fits it into himself. He stands up with a new name, Megatron.
I am Megatron!
So, there's your answer. A villain lands when you understand him, when you sit there half thinking you'd have maybe done the same thing in his shoes. D16 earns every inch of that turn, and that's the only reason it works, right? Well, no, because the real villain of this film didn't work out like that. And that villain was Sentinel Prime. For most of the film, you don't even see him as the villain. He's the beloved leader. Warm, funny, always out there praising the miners for their hard work, throwing the city a big spectacle to keep everyone's spirits up. John Hamm voices him and just drips charm all over it. Walk in halfway through and you'd swear he's the one you're meant to root for. He's even gracious to D16 personally early on.
You inspired them to work harder.
Which kinda lands like a slap the second you know about the truth. And there's nothing underneath it. Nothing. No tragedy, no bad break that shoved him off course. He got jealous of the real primes, wanted their power, and had them killed for it. Then he sold his own species to aliens to keep his crown and painted the whole thing as heroism. Every problem on that planet, the fuel running dry, D16's entire stolen life, all of it traces back to one vain robot who just wanted to be worshipped. And that's the whole character. Really, he's a greedy fake and he loved being on top. By everything we covered just before this, Sentinel should be falling completely flat because there is no understanding him. I'd argue he's exactly the same kind of villain that Hollywood productions are supposed to swerve. You know, they give him the sympathetic angle or a moment where you suddenly get him by like making the greed relate to a sad backstory or redeem what he did in another way. But instead, he's one of the most talked about things in the entire movie. People love hating him. Critics singled him out. That performance got praised just as loud as the tragic fall you watched a minute ago. A flat, greedy cartoon of a bad guy landing every bit as hard as Megatron did. So the theory we were holding, that a villain works because you understand him, because you'd maybe have done the same thing as him, that can't be it. This movie's got one villain you might forgive, like the Hollywood one, and one you never could. And the two of them hit just as hard as the other. So sympathy doesn't seem to be the thing. Both of these villains prove that. Whatever's actually doing the work here, it's something the two of them share. And that is the part Hollywood just can't seem to figure out. So, what is it? What are both of these robots doing that the rest of villain kind keep missing? Well, the easiest way to see that is to look at where it all goes wrong. Take Malekith from Thor, The Dark World. Quick, no peeking. What did he want? Yeah, something about drowning the universe in darkness or so. Why? Because he's the villain. And the movie needed one that week. That's honestly the whole character. He shows up, he's evil, he loses. People flat out call him the most forgettable villain Marvel's ever put on screen, and for a while, that had been such a running issue, it had a name. The Marvel Villain Problem. A bad guy who's bad because the production sheet said, yeah, bad guy. That's one way to whiff it. There's a second one, and I'm about to make some enemies here, like real big enemies, like I did in my original Pacific Rim video, called Transformers Weightless and Giant Robots Instead of Aliens. Okay, so bear with me. Anakin Skywalker. You know, the most famous good guy turns villain story in all of sci-fi. A Jedi who becomes Darth Vader. On paper, it's the exact same move Transformers 1 is pulling. And I love those movies, I really do. But the actual turn? He watches Palpatine kill Mace Windu, has one bad conversation, kneels down, and minutes later, he's walking into the temple to cut down children. Plenty of people saw that and just went, wait, that fast? The setup's there, in theory. I mean, years of Palpatine working on him, so it could be good. I just think it could have been better if more work was put onto the screen to really make it land. So please, don't hate me, I'm like half on your side. Now, go back to D16. His turn takes the whole movie. You watch the faith get stacked up so you know exactly how high it is. Then you watch the one thing that knocks it all down, seeing how he picks the worst version of himself because of it, one awful step at a time. By the time he's ripping Sentinel in half, you're not confused for a single second about how the sweet, loyal miner got here. Every inch of that road is on screen. It's the earned version of what those prequels rushed. Sentinel is the Malekith who actually got written. Strip it right down and Sentinel's a simple bad guy too. He's vain, and he wants the throne. But the movie gives that greed a reason and lets it drive the whole planet. The whole broken world runs on his one selfish choice. And they hand it to John Hamm, who, let's be honest, had tons of fun being awful. Same flat evil as Malekith, but completely different result. Because somebody did the work. That doesn't mean that Hollywood is incapable of writing a good villain, and they've proven that before with Thanos. Big purple guy wants to wipe out half of all life in the universe. It's kind of another Malekith. Cosmic bad guy after a cosmic bad thing. But they handed him a reason he believes in. He watched his own world die from overcrowding, couldn't stop it, and talked himself into the idea that killing half of everything, everywhere, was actually mercy. So it was never that Hollywood can't. They've done it before. It's just they usually don't. The answer is, it was never sympathy. Both villains in Transformers get a real, specific reason to be what they are, and the movie does the work to build it until you buy it. You feel for one, and you can't stand the other, and it changes nothing. They both land because somebody bothered. Most movies skip all that and just ask you to accept that the bad guy's a bad guy, and they hope you're not paying too much attention. So, if you ask me, I'd say that's the difference. Two miners, best friends, handed the exact same betrayal in the exact same cave, and they walk out of it going completely opposite directions. Orion took that wound and decided to build something better out of it. D16 took the same wound and decided to burn it all down. One of them ends the movie as Optimus Prime, the most loved hero this whole franchise has got. The other ends it as Megatron. And the best part, if you ask me, is the slightly uncomfortable thing the film hands you on the way out. In the live-action films, Megatron just sort of turns up already evil. Big scary warlord who wants to take over. And you never really stop to wonder how he got that way. At least I didn't. Now, you've met him. Though this isn't officially the same Megatron from the live-action films, but oh well. That's kind of the beauty of the thing. The Friends' first idea isn't brand new on its own. The comics have had Optimus and Megatron starting close before, but nobody's done it quite like this. Two nobodies at the bottom of the pile, cogless miners who were best mates, and the entire war the whole franchise runs on kicks off from one lie told to two friends. Which, let's be real, is a lot to pull off for a movie about toys that turn into cars. The sad part is, this was meant to be the start of a trilogy. The sequels were already mapped out. Then the movie flopped, barely scraped past 129 million, and Paramount killed the rest of it, even though critics and fans loved the thing. So this new look at Megatron might genuinely be all we ever get. Luckily, it's something that Transformers has managed to solve. The scale paradox, though, is something that nobody seems to solve. Don't know what that paradox is? Oh, well, how about you click over here, find out.